What's up, everybody? It's JSU here from RPS, and I'm here to show you guys how I won just over 200K playing MLB DFS on DraftKings. So first off, I took down two contests over for 100K on DraftKings. The 444 Grand Slam, I'm pretty sure. I had two entries in that, and then I had two entries in the $15 season opener, which is the big GPP contest on DraftKings. So two lineups. I played just over $1,000 for the day. And, a lot of people talk about, you need 150 lineups. You need, to cash and hit big on those big GPPs. And I didn't. I had two lineups. I played both lineups in the $15 and the 444. And I took the both down with a score of 198.40. How I got there. So first off, I started off with my two pitchers, and the thought process here was a thought process that I actually learned from a guy that you might know named BigT. BigT showed me this thought process a year or two ago, and it actually helped me win big in MLB DFS last year, hitting over six figures multiple times using this strategy. And the strategy was pairing two pitchers from the same game. Now, a lot of people don't like doing that because they think it limits their upside. But in a way, in tournaments, the theory and thought process behind it is I know it's going to be somewhat unique. And we have two solid pitchers who I think both had upside from a strikeout standpoint. And they both had really good games, totaling just around just under 25 DK points, which was perfect for this slate. One of them was also very cheap, 6,500. So, it just helped me with my lineup build, and it helped get some of the bigger bats in. Both those two pitchers were on Big T's core as well. And if you don't know the core plays have been awesome over at RPS. Multiple contributors in their core plays helped out with this lineup, and I will give them shouts out as we go through it. So after that, my thought process when it came to the hitters. So we had a big slate. I think it was around 9 games, if I remember correctly, and they were all throughout the day. Slate started around 2 on DraftKings, and I knew for a fact that I wanted to focus on 3 specific games from a hitting standpoint. One of them being the Texas KC game, the Dodgers Colorado game, which was in Coors, and the Arizona San Diego game. That was my thought process coming into building. So what I did was I pretty much clicked on those 3 games, and I started to try and build out my lineup, figuring, okay, these are the 3 games I want to target. Let's see what I can build with those 2 pitchers that I had. Starting off, obviously, the cores on the slate was huge. Colorado, Dodgers, I knew they were going to be popular. So what I did was most people in those situations are going to play 4 to 5 from Colorado, from Coors, because Coors is always very popular. And I knew that going in. So I knew playing just under 4 or 5 was going to help me be somewhat unique. I knew a lot of people weren't going to play 3. And that's what I did. I got Max Muncy in there. I had Cody Bellinger, and I had Corey Seager. Those were the 3 guys I had from Coors. Again, I know a lot of people love to stack in MLB DFS, but I knew that was going to help me with this lineup. Then from there, Ketel Marte, who is one of my favorite MLB DFS baseball players. I love this guy. Got his jersey on right here. He was 2,700. And I just knew for a fact I was playing him 100% at that price tag. And he was hitting in the 2 hole. And Josh Rojas, who was hitting 1, was also extremely cheap. And I think he was 2,500. And because Marte was outfield eligible as well, I knew a lot of people were going to be able to try and pair both those 2 cheap guys in the 1 and 2 hole together. If they were going to play Marte, they might try and mini stack them because they're hitting 1 and 2. So what I did was at third base, and I went Asdrubal Cabrera over Fuentes, who was hitting in the 2 hole for Colorado, because I knew Fuentes was going to be popular at that pretty much the same price point. I think he was 3,400. Cabrera was 3,600. And I knew a lot more people when they got down to that range was going to click Fuentes. So I went Cabrera for lower ownership, pair him with Marte, give me that little mini stack from Arizona. because I said that was the side that I really did want out of that Arizona-San Diego game. And then after that, my outfielders, the two cheap guys, actually, Joey Gallo, who was one of our guy Draftcheat, DC, favorite plays on the slate. He gave him out on the free live show that we do Monday through Friday, MLB Swing for the Fences, 3:45 most days. But he gave him out as one of his favorite hitters on the slate. He was also very cheap, 3,600, and he's got power and upside. I love Gallo. He fit real well. And then Soler from KC, who was actually one of our guy JT's core plays on the site. So Soler was 2,800, another guy with just monster power, and I knew he had upside. It just fit so well. And I because I had so much money with those cheap outfielders, I pretty much got to Perez because I had so much money left over for my final spot. And I put in Perez there for that little mini stack of Perez and Soler. And it kind of got me over the top at the end. And I was sitting in first place. So that's how I did it. And that was my theory behind it. All right, guys. So for that, if you, want more from me and all the contributors, Big T, Hoop, AP, JT, DC over at Run Pure Sports, make sure you get over there. Check us out. Premium content is fire. We have a playbook every day, MLB, NBA, PGA, everything over there. Core plays for all the sports, everything you want. The Discord for premium members where you can ask us questions. Make sure you get over there, sign up, and get more of this great content because we're going to keep it rolling over at RPS. All right. So for me, JSU, we'll see you later.
Hey, it's a special edition of the Final Countdown. What's today? Is it Wednesday?
It is Wednesday.
It's great to know. I think something that's going to continue once this whole pandemic is officially over is I'm still not going to know what day it is. I really don't feel like I'm ever going back to knowing what day it is.
I've been living that life for 12, 13 years. No calendars down in the basement. So I don't need to know what day it is. I just need to know what teams and players are on the slates, and I'm good to go.
Yeah. Nice. You obviously got your Manscaped package from Tony. Congratulations. Looking great there. Love where just in the corner it says your balls will thank you.
Yeah.
Speaking of balls, we got a 10-game slate here on the baseball slate. How you like that? Huh? Let's do it, baby. I'm excited about this. I love day baseball. Looking forward to my nap. I'm thinking, what game am I going to be watching? Well, you know what? The White Sox Mariners game is a game that I'll be looking at later today, and you're going to say why, and we'll talk about it. But I'm thinking I could probably right around the fourth, take a nap between the fourth and maybe the top of the seventh inning with the Minnesota-Detroit game today. I'm looking forward to that. Let's just get into this. Pitchers. Let's start with our pitchers here. Bieber. How popular is the Biebs going to be today? Mr. Draftcheat. And before we even do this, let me just also say one other thing. We're more of a tournament show, right? Like, we're not talking cash here.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk both. I'm more of a tournament player myself, but most of the things I say, I try to explain kind of where my logic is coming from and, the strengths and weaknesses of each player. So if you're playing cash games, you can certainly apply it there if you want to.
Okay. Hey, make sure you like and subscribe. Bottom right-hand video, the video there. And that's it. That's all we need to do. Like, subscribe, 150 likes, you get some swag. We'll try and get some questions of yours too. How popular is the Biebs today in tournaments? And well, cash, he's going to be way up there, but in tournaments, is he easily the highest owned pitcher today?
We'll see. There's a lot of good pitching options. I think we'll spend a decent amount of time here at pitcher because there is a lot of different directions you could go. Bieber, number 2 for me, just narrowly behind Trevor Bauer. I really like both guys. I'll have exposure to both. My main DraftKings lineup right now has both Bieber and Bauer. I think there's more than enough value on this slate on both sites, FanDuel, DraftKings, to get either of those guys. Bauer looked incredible in Coors Field. He did kind of give up some home runs, I think, in the 7th inning, but he had a no-hitter going into the 7th in Coors Field. I know you and I, Holden, talked about, I talked a little bit about some concern with Bauer and the sticky substance stuff that baseball was talking about, if he was able to get his grip on the ball and get the spin rate up. Looking at the data, he's decided he just doesn't care what Major League Baseball says. He's going to use it. Clearly did in Coors Field. So that makes me that much more encouraged about Bauer. And the A's just haven't been hitting. So he's my number 1, but Bieber right there, number 2. Got a rough start opening day against the Tigers, right? But bounced back and was the same Bieber that we saw all last year. Runaway Cy Young winner, had a 22% swinging strike rate, which is just through the roof. And gets another good matchup here, right? At home against the Royals. Royals have, some, like, most of the lineup is decent hitters, but nothing that you're going to fear with Bieber. So I do think, like I said, you can certainly afford these 2 studs, Bieber, Bauer, the last 2 Cy Young winners in your lineup, which was, I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty good way to start a lineup, right? Get the last 2 Cy Young winners, get them in there, and there's enough value. Hey, that's a good way to go.
Is there going to be enough value today? Probably, because we'll have lineups coming out with some of the guys deep on the bench, right?
Yeah, there's clearly enough value. There's a bunch of on DraftKings below and FanDuel below 3K players that I really, really like. So you can fit everybody in, frankly, today, which is the route I'll be taking on a lot of my lineups.
Solid Picks wants to inject your content directly into his veins. Is there anything you're interested in?
Better than the content and the vaccine, right?
Why is everyone saying JSU is here? JSU's not here.
He was supposed to be here. Well, I thought it was going to be JT Hayes, and I thought it was going to be JSU. And
I thought it was going to start an hour later.
So did I.
I called this morning. I'm sitting in the hopper. You don't call it the hopper. You're old. Simon goes, "Hey, you're doing a show soon." I says, "What are you talking about?"
That was my reaction
so
as well a bit.
It's not going to be easy to get to 150 likes today. I think you guys can do it, but like everything
a bit unorganized on the schedule team over at RPS. Get it together,
no, it's
guys.
JSU.
You're watching.
You know what? Everybody wants JSU on here. JSU, take the day off. Take the day off. Just stop. I'll see you at the NBA, and that's that.
Well, here's the thing. What I heard. So you and I both thought this show was going to start an hour later.
Correct.
I'm up working 5:30, getting ready, getting all the content out, getting the playbook, the core plays, getting ready for the show.
Yeah.
And then I get a message that JSU, not from JSU himself, mind you, he wants to switch the show to an hour earlier. Okay, fair enough. I figure that means JSU is going to join us on the show, right? Maybe he wants to. Apparently not. He's not here. It's just me and you. So
this is what he does, though.
Yeah.
And he'll just be like, and if you don't show up, he'll just throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
This is what he does.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, people make fun of his height all the time. I think the only thing that came out of that was his Napoleonic complex. So he's just angry at people that are taller than 5'6".
He just wanted to flex some power. He just wanted to change the showtime for no reason. Didn't show up himself.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm a bit irritated, but I'm happy too. We're talking some baseball anyways. We're going to be here. So no, Tommy G is not hosting, Brian. The last time I saw Tommy G, the one time I saw Tommy G, there's a lot of drugs. I was not taking part of this. And there was 2 women that I believe were hookers. It was a wild night. I'll just say that. It was just, then again, JJ on the bet side, he got a little crazy in Nashville. So Tommy G's still a little crazier. Poor JJ. What's up, JJ? So anyways, I guess, the damn schedule makers. That's right, Jay. The damn schedule makers. Yeah. He's worse than MLB schedule.
It's all good.
Who else we got here that we want to go to pitching wise? I'm going to ask you about Evaldi. I think Hyunjin Ryu, another one. Everybody loves Pablo Lopez, it seems like.
Yep.
Did I miss anybody there? Did I add anybody you didn't like? Give me the other guys you're looking at today, DC.
Yeah, so I don't think I would go to Evaldi today. A pitcher I don't mind. He's got great stuff, no doubt about it. This just doesn't seem like the slate for him, given the other options that we have. You mentioned Hyunjin Ryu. I think he might end up actually being maybe the most popular pitcher on DraftKings just because he's so cheap. He's 7,300. You look at his results over the last few years, they're just phenomenal. I think Texas has one of the lowest team totals on the board. I mean, you look at the Texas lineup, it's ugly. I know they went off last night, but that was against, Tanner Roark, who doesn't really have any place, shouldn't have any place being a starting pitcher.
Don't you dare say that about Tanner Roark. That's my buddy.
Tanner Roark is really.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
he really does. He should be a middle reliever. I mean, let's be honest at this point.
He might be out of a job soon, so maybe you got an
middle
extra
relief
room in your house for him.
He used to live around the corner.
Yeah.
But he gives up too many fly balls. All right, so off of Tanner Roark. He's not even on the slate. Right? Let's just
Ryu, obviously a different story. Throws from the left side. Most of the Texas bats that you fear swing from the left side. David Dahl, Joey Gallo, Nate Lowe being the three kind of main guys in that lineup, all swing from the left side. All are much worse against lefties. Ryu's got a pretty phenomenal track record against lefties himself. I totally get it. I just don't think he has the same upside that Bieber and Bauer bring to the table. You're rarely going to see 9-10 plus strikeout game from Ryu. I think Bieber and Bauer both could and maybe both will, frankly, get to 10 plus strikeouts today. So Ryu's fine. I just can get all the guys I want in my lineup with the top two pitchers. So I don't see going there myself. I do like Kenta Maeda a little bit. He was somewhat disappointing on opening day, but I really think the Twins are going to win this game. And Maeda gets, a Tigers lineup that, of course, we love to target a lot of lefties in there, but Maeda has changed his pitch mix a little bit to be more effective against lefties. Aaron Nola, fine against the Mets, like a phenomenal pitcher for sure. If you want to go that direction, I just prefer Bauer and Bieber. Blake Snell, another former Cy Young winner. If you want to go in that direction, I think he'll be a little bit contrarian. San Francisco can hit lefties okay, but Snell obviously has the stuff to deal with that when he's on his game. In a normal slate, a normal weather day, I would look at least a little bit at Hendricks and especially Brandon Woodruff at 7,200, who's a great strikeout guy. Yeah. But wind blowing out in Wrigley makes that a little bit scary. So on this slate, there's just so many great options. I'm probably not going there.
I think we'll probably end up getting into that game too. Yeah. It's like you got two ground ball pitchers, but you got the wind blowing out. So
that's the toughest game for me to break down, honestly, because it's two pitchers that I do really like. Yeah. I think their skills are good, but then you got kind of the best hitting weather on the slate also. So kind of a tough one there.
Yeah, we'll talk that out as the show goes on. Yep. Your cores are up. Big T's cores are up. And if you want to see DC's and Big T's cores, you might want to sign up too. Right now, Giblets is the new promo code, or as a lot of people call them, Giblets. They're Giblets. It's Get Bets. Why are we Get Bets as opposed to Giblets? You can't put, Simon. That's it. I'm about to go full volcano on you because I can't read. Get Bets is the new promo code for our site. That's good because I love the bets, guys. Joey worked at a really cool baseball video, and you should follow him on Twitter. I don't have his handle right now, but he does great betting work, him and JJ, and I'll throw some bets in there. Anyways, Get Bets, new promo code. Sign up for monthly Elite plus bets option. Get bets free for the first month, okay? It's totally worth it. Totally worth it. If you're a good DFS player, you're going to either already be a good bettor or you're going to learn from these guys in the Discord. So you get all of DC's, Big T's, everybody's stuff, all the premium stuff, both sites. Get Bets. All right, Get Bets. I know how to spell that. Anything else pitching wise before we get to this this batting slate?
Yeah, a couple more guys I at least want to mention. So Woodruff, I think, is at least interesting just because I think he could rack up strikeouts if his stuff is on. His stuff is that good that, listen, if you're striking everybody out, the win doesn't really matter, right? So I think Woodruff has that kind of upside if he's dealing. We'll see how good his stuff is. It didn't look that good to me in game one, but he could easily bounce back. Pablo Lopez, you mentioned him already. He's certainly interesting pitching at home against the Cardinals, whose offense has looked not great, frankly, through these the first 5-6 days of the season. He's 6,800. If you need a savings, you can go to him. And then, it's painful to mention, but I will have a couple shares of Kyle Gibson. I think he made it six batters in the first game, 6-7 batters. Yeah. I'm sorry, but Holden, if he's going to be on my teams, I at least got to mention him here while we're going over pitching.
Well, sometimes. Sometimes just keep some guy's secret to yourself.
No.
But then pay off.
Here's what happens. If I win $50K with Kyle Gibson,
yeah,
and I didn't mention him on the show, the trolls will be coming after me. They'll be like, "Hey,
yeah, but screw him. You got 50.
You didn't even talk about Kyle Gibson." So there it is. There's my analysis. Kyle Gibson. He'll be on a couple of my teams.
I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, look who's here. Mighty Mouse. What the hell, dude?
Wow.
What are we doing here?
I literally got like people messaging me right now saying, "Are my ears ringing?" Like, what is going on?
What did you tell me what's going on? I'm sitting there taking my morning poop, getting ready to go out to breakfast. I don't even get a text from you. I got a text from Simon. Here it is. Sorry. Did you know that you were doing a show this morning in 1 hour? I was like, are you kidding me? Who's doing this? Who does this?
How'd you even have time to get your hair done in that time?
Who else argues about the schedule on the air?
I had the show at 12 o'clock. Me and Simon were messaging. I said, should we move it? He said, if we did move it, it's fine, but we don't, it's not a big deal, but if they want to. And then I just never got around messaging you guys because there was just other things happening.
That literally takes about 3 seconds in the Discord.
I figured the show was still at 12. That's what I figured. The show was at 12, and then DC's telling people I'm on the show, so I'm getting ready for a 12 o'clock show. I'm getting ready with the NBA playbook. I'm getting my MLB lineup contest set up.
You changed the time of the show and didn't know what time the show was.
I did not change the time of the show.
Simon, can you chime in here? Because
was it Simon? Did Simon change the show? Simon says you changed the time of the show.
And I just never got around to asking
Simon. Simon. Oh, Simon. Simon, I got a problem with you now, dude.
Here's the message.
This wasn't even JSU. He didn't even know when the show started, Simon.
Let me read the message I got from Simon, the producer, at 7:14 a.m. here in Colorado. Also, just a heads up, JSU wanted to go at 11 Eastern time instead of noon.
Yeah, I think he decided this morning since the slate locks at 1 and he wanted to give enough time after the show.
Well, I understand the logic.
No, I'm getting the same thing.
Yeah.
I got one guy. I got the guy that does the schedule not even knowing what time the show is. And then I got the guy behind the scenes telling me that we got to go early because JSU thinks it's better.
This is why Run Pure is going under.
This is why it's taken off, because we're dumb enough to talk about this shit on the air.
This is why we started Run Pure, so we can do whatever the hell we want. So if we want to start at 11, you can't tell me to 11.
You can't tell me to wake up an hour early and do this. So you had nothing to do with this, JSU. Is that what you're saying?
So I did send a message to Simon saying, "What do you think about moving the show to 11?" He did reply and say, it works for him, but if it's cool with the host." And then I came back and said, "It's early." We got plenty of time. I mean, I don't know what people are talking about. So
DC, we got plenty of time to do this because we should have been going an hour later.
Fair enough. Yeah, we just put 2
I'll
hours.
take the blame. Right. I apologize for even thinking of the idea of starting an hour early. I apologize.
I think you're off the hook. I think it's Simon now. I think this is on Simon. You threw him under the bus.
All right. Let's talk baseball. I'm done talking.
Oh, you're actually going to stay on the show?
I'm going to stay on this show and talk baseball with my guy.
Did you look at the slate yet?
Yeah, I've been looking at the slate this whole time. I already built 2 lineups. I feel so good about my lineups right now. So I want to talk with DC because, man, I'm feeling really good about my lineups.
Did you put your core up on the site or are you not?
I'm going to put it in the Discord.
Ooh, I like
it in the Discord for the members.
All right, let's get back to this then. Me and DC went through pitchers. Any pitchers you want to talk about?
I mean, I don't know what DC's thoughts were because I obviously missed that first part of the show, not knowing it was on. But
even though you scheduled it, okay.
Yes, even though I'm this person who schedules all the shows. Okay. I mean, I can't get around the 2 stud pitcher pairing. So my plan is to get different at the bats. And I think it's very simple when you're talking about stacking to get different. Because if you leave like one of these popular guys off and kind of stack, the bottom of the order, like it's just going to make yourself different leaving, one of these really popular guys. And there's so many good cheap guys to pivot to that, like, it's not like with Garlic, like at Minnesota, like he's going to be so popular. And I think Rooker is a really good pivot off of him. And they're right at the same price point where people are going to make a decision. And most people are going to pick the guy in the 2-hole, right? Like that's for sure going to happen. So I think it's great leverage.
They're pretty much the same play. And like Rooker is like, I don't know, projected for like 0.3 fewer at bats. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, but like, well, probably less than half the ownership, I would guess, just because of the 2-hole versus the 6-hole. They're both power right-handed. So yeah. So I mean, I mentioned JSU. I'm paying up for Bieber and Bauer where I can. I think, I don't know. We've had so many nights. We've had the Burns and Barrios night. We've had the Glasnow and Alcantara. You get like 25 to 35 from your 2 starting pitchers. Man, you're off to the races. I mean, it was the same last night. Giolito gave up a few runs, but he was awesome with the strikeouts. We paired him mostly with Glasnow, who put up 25 fantasy points. You can fit him in today. You really can. So there are good cheap options. We already ran through them all, but Bieber Bauer, I don't know. Give me the 10 plus strikeout upside for both of these guys.
Yeah, it's just such a strong pairing. And again, like you said, we have so many cheap bats. I mean, we're only talking, I just brought up Minnesota just because they were the first guys that came to mind, but there are other teams with cheap bats too as well. And we'll get into that as we break down like the, positions obviously, but it's just going to make the Bieber Bauer pairing so easy to fit. I think that's just the hands down way to go. Obviously there are some other pitchers you can look at, but those are the 2 clear guys for me.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not even close.
In terms of upside, it's not close. Like Ryu, I think his floor is just as high probably as those 2 guys. And you do get like a 3K savings, I guess. But I just think Bieber and Bauer they're going to shove today. That's kind of what I say in the Discord when I'm like, people are like, oh, can I fade this pitcher? I'm like, of course you can do whatever you want. But I think this guy's going to rack up the strikeouts. And typically they have, Glasnow, Giolito. It's harder, obviously, to predict if they're going to give up a home run at some point, right? Like, I don't know, maybe, but these guys, you start watching these guys, they have some of the best stuff in MLB, some of the best swing and miss stuff. They're going to get a ton of strikeouts. They're going to be good. And you can fit them easily. So I don't see a reason to get too cute and move away from Bieber and Bauer. It seems like a decision that you'll most likely end up regretting at the end of the slate.
Did DC talk about his Kyle Gibson love? Because I know for a fact
Holden wouldn't let me, but I did mention.
I mean, if you want to, I can't do it. I can't stand the guy.
I mean, he's 5,500.
Huh?
He's 5,500. I know he's like got blown up last game, but
what is value for 5,500? When you get negative 7.2, what value is that? When you get 5,500
we can't be results oriented.
7.2.
It was a bad start for the Gibson man. He has many of them, and I will always have him on my team for all of them. So there's Kyle Gibson for you.
Honestly, I mean, everybody thinks of him like me. Then you got leverage. Good job.
Listen, you're playing like the $15 on DraftKings. You got a couple lineups in there. You're not playing really heavy, but you want to get. Like, I think it's okay to take a shot with a guy like Kyle Gibson at that price point because it's going to make you extremely different than most of the people that are going to pay up, because I think the pay up option, those 2 guys are just so clear. I think a lot of people are going to do it. Whereas when you pay up for those 2, you're going to need to get different with the bats. But if you pay up for one and down all the way down for another, it's going to instantly make your bats different as well. The combination you're going to have, because not many will do that.
JC, do you have an idea what the ownership is going to look like for Bieber versus Bauer, for Ryu?
I mean, I'm expecting them to be the 2 highest owned pitchers by far.
I think Ryu might challenge for it on DraftKings at 7,300 against this Texas team. That's, I mean, I mentioned it talking to Holden before you jumped on, but like Dahl, Gallo, Nate Lowe all swing from the left side where Ryu just shuts down lefties. So I'm like almost scared of fading Ryu here. It just seems like such a good spot, but He just doesn't have quite the upside that Bieber and Bauer have. He's not going to go just deep into the game, most likely. So, yeah, I'm with you. Leaning Bieber Bauer.
Yeah, he doesn't have like the K upside.
He doesn't. No.
Right, for sure. But it is a good spot for him, and he is cheap. Again, though, like if you want it to be extremely different at pitcher, and you did like a Ryu and a Gibson, I mean, you'll just be extremely different. But I don't know if you need that savings with so many cheap hitters. That's the problem, right? You don't need it.
The problem is, even if Gibson pitches well, I know he can. He's still not going to reach the heights that Bieber and Bauer most likely get to. So you're starting out a deficit, and you just don't need the savings, right? Like you're spending up on guys that you don't necessarily, on hitters rather, that you don't necessarily think are that much better of plays. You know, like you get the 5K savings going to Gibson from Shane Bieber, but I can easily find that savings in the hitting bats without really sacrificing much of anything, in my opinion. So it's just kind of a weird slate like that.
Flaherty chalk, DC, because I feel like every slate, I feel like whenever he's chalk, I always end up fading him. And most of the time, the dude busts whenever he's chalk. And I feel like he's another guy who he's the perfect like SP2 for someone. They're going to pay up for one of these two studs and then go to like him or Ryu. That's going to be like a somewhat of a popular build, right, on DraftKings?
Yeah, yes. I mean, I have no interest in Flaherty here, really. I recommended strongly against him multiple times on opening day, where he was also, I think, pretty popular against the Reds, and he sucked. You know, he got pretty much 0 fantasy points. He had a horrible spring. He had a horrible 2020. He had a horrible first start. I'm just not really a believer in Flaherty at this point. So I know the matchup's pretty good in Miami, although I will say, just worth mentioning, it looks like Miami is one of the 5 or 6 teams that has a humidor for the baseballs, which like Coors Field has one, which makes it not as crazy because it increases the humidity of the baseballs. The purpose of it in Miami is to decrease, because it's so humid in Miami, right? So the baseballs kind of get back to normal. I think these are going to be in every park probably in a couple of years. So the research that I've read, the baseballs in Miami this year compared to in the past, fly balls will be on average flying 13 feet farther. So Miami, they also moved the fences in last year. It's not going to be quite the pitcher's haven that it's been over the last few seasons. Just a little bit of an aside there. It doesn't obviously affect this slate that much, but Miami, I think you could take overs in a lot of their games, frankly, right now, before the public maybe adjusts to that. That was like news, I think, literally from yesterday. They announced that on the broadcast. So another reason just to be a little bit off of Flaherty. I've pretty much no interest in him tonight.
All right, we got a question in the chat about the promo code. I'll say it again: Get Bets. You sign up for the monthly, you get elite plus bets, and then you get the bets for the first month free. That's what we got right now. So Get Bets is our discount code. And it's more than getting money off for that. You get the bet side too, which, by the way, I think could be just as popular. What's so funny, JSU? Who are you responding to?
I'm responding to Dunkel, who's trying to defend me earlier, apparently, in the chat. And, you know, I appreciate him. He's the one who actually he's the one who actually brought my attention to this whole situation about you guys being on. So
we were prepared to go without you, but we had to throw you under the bus a little bit.
Hold on a second. Now Dunkel ratted us out?
Yes.
What the hell is going on at this place? You know, he's one of my guys. He stabs me in the back. You're blaming Simon for stuff. Simon's telling me to do stuff I don't even know it's on there. The only guy I like here is DC. Everybody else sucks. You're all trying to get me. Joey Works telling me he wants to have sex with me. It's disgusting, Joey Work. This is professional. Don't bring that up on a free show.
That's because Dunkel is actually my guy, all right? I defend him. He defends me.
Get in the chat. You got to pick one. You got to pick one side, Dunkel. That's it. I'm telling you right now. Our friendship's on the line. Our Sunday show is on the line. That's all I'm telling you. That's all.
That's all right, Dunkel. You don't need him on your Sunday show. It's way better without Holden.
Yeah, it isn't. In that one particular case, it isn't. All right. Anyways, you ready to do some hitters? Yeah,
let's do it.
We need a lot of value. So DC, I think, what are we looking at chalk today, chalk wise? Either one of the guys, like maybe Milwaukee, Chicago, Toronto is going to be chalky all the time now because they're hitting. The Twins are probably the chalk, right?
Maybe. We're doing stacks right now. That's cool. So
Yeah,
No,
we're
we're not doing stacks. I'm just asking you who the chalk is going to be, and then we'll get into it.
I actually think it's going to be pretty spread out today for the most part. So I personally, the Twins have most of my favorite bats on their team, but I mean, there's only an 8 total in Detroit, which is surprising to me. Just a 4.5 team total there for the Twins. We got a 9 total in Milwaukee, despite the 2 pretty good pitchers in Hendricks and Woodruff. So that's I mentioned it early on in the show, but that's an interesting situation to me. The Dodgers, I think, always get some ownership, but we might not even have a lineup by lock. So we'll see. I don't know, Jesse, do you have a better feeling on where the chalk's going to be? Because I think it's kind of going to be all over the place, honestly.
I mean, I hope you're right. I thought the Twins were going to be the chalk. And whenever you have multiple value guys from a team, and then you have like a clear stud, in my opinion, Nelly Cruz, that everybody knows. When Nelly Cruz plays a lefty, right? Like that's when you want to be.
The dude also has 3 home runs in his first 2 games.
Well, that too, obviously. But yeah, I'm just saying though, he's hitting third. He's on a hot start. He's facing a lefty. I mean, literally, the guy couldn't be put in a spot where anyone, like even any people who don't really know much about DFS, they could go in and look, and they're going to see Nelly Cruz, and they're going to be like, oh, he's off to a hot start. He's playing a lefty. Okay, I like it. Oh, they have 2 guys in the outfield that are 2,300 that I can pair. And they have Buxton as well, who's cheap and has been hot as well this season. Like, there's just so many options for this team.
So I'm very high on the Twins. I'm not a BVP guy, but I can be in some cases. It can be swaying me. Some of these Twins results.
Hold on, it can what? Beslang you?
It can. What did I say?
What does slang mean?
Sway you?
Sway me. Sway me.
Yeah,
It can sway me.
Beslang sounds cool too, though.
So the times I do consider it somewhat are when like a pitcher hasn't changed much and all the plate appearances are recent. Yes. That's certainly the case with Matthew Boyd. Boyd and Nelson Cruz in the same division. All of these 18 plate appearances, I believe, have come in the last 2 years since Cruz joined the Twins. A 500 OPS there against Matthew Boyd, 5 strikeouts and 18 plate appearances. I see you shaking your head, JSU. I'm still on Cruz myself, but it's giving me a little bit of cause for concern. He's also owned Miguel Sano. They've had 39 plate appearances over the last few years. 22 strikeouts for Boyd against Miguel Sano in those 39 plate appearances. A 397 OPS. Byron Buxton, another guy who I think I really like. 24 plate appearances against Boyd, 7 strikeouts, a 139 OPS. All these Twins that I'm high on, Boyd has absolutely owned. All these hitters are kind of the same guy. Boyd's the same pitcher. JSU, does that concern you whatsoever?
Well, I mean, it does a little bit, but still, I think the way I was planning on being different in some of my stats was, obviously in tournaments, you're going to have to leave. If you're making multiple lineups anyways, you're going to have to leave one of those stud hitters off your lineup, I think anyways, because going in there, if you're just going to play Cruz and Buxton, Garlick, like that's going to be what everyone wants to play, right? So I think fading a guy like Cruz isn't a terrible idea in tournaments, even though the risk, right? The risk is, he double dongs, and if he double dongs, you're pretty much sitting there upset you faded him. But it's also baseball, and you're giving out the numbers for why, he maybe they've struggled a little bit against this pitcher. And it gives me the cause to say, okay, like I can at least take the shot. And we all know even the best hitters in the best spots can still strike out twice and, ground out once. And we all know that it's baseball. Sure. So like, you're going to have to make tough fades. That's just the way it goes. Yeah,
I was just kind of shocked to see those numbers, right? Like I expected to look up that Cruz and Buxton and Sano had owned Matthew Boyd in the past. That's why we like the Twins. Righty power crushes him in general, but it hasn't been the case for those guys. It is a little bit concerning. I'm gonna play those guys, in a lot of my lineups, and I'm gonna kind of feel foolish if I didn't pay heed to some of this data. So we'll see how it goes. I will say this too. You oftentimes see in Discord or maybe even in the YouTube chat, like, oh, everybody's on the Twins. It's like, well, everybody on RPS is on the Twins. That's not everybody in the DFS community. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because, I mean, me and TitleTown were filling out our core plays. We both had a bunch of Twins in there. You and I are both on the Twins here on the show. But there are other shows, other sites out there. The Twins don't have that high of a team total, which is, I think, the number one thing that really drives ownership, right, is a high team total. You obviously see it in Coors Field all the time. Doesn't really matter what the matchup is. Coors Field, Vegas says there's going to be 11 runs scored there. People are going to gravitate in that direction. So
I mean, it's like anything though, right? Like you have no interest in Flaherty. I have no interest in Flaherty, but I'm looking at ownership on Flaherty. Like he's going to be,
he's going to project out well, popular. And people are going to play him.
Yeah, exactly. And RPS. So it's just, that's always how it is though, right? We're not, just because we're on all agreeing on one side of the coin doesn't mean the whole industry is on that same side of the coin.
But it's easy to think that when you're in the Discord with everybody else who's like, we're all in on the Twins. So if the Twins go off today, we're going to see a lot of RPS logos at the top of tournaments. Yeah. As we have pretty much every
night. Someone won 100K last night too.
Yep. Yeah, just another day.
Just amazing. Yeah, that's fine. So listen, Nelson Cruz doesn't even have the highest home run prop. It's Miguel Sano, which was very interesting when I looked at this. And somehow Sano's gotten fatter.
I'm going to give
the fattest JSU real quick. Let me just get this fat thing out and then it's all good. That is the fattest team there is. You got Nelly Cruz, his belly's hanging down around his cup. You got Willens Astudillo, who's easily pushing 400 pounds. And Miguel Sano, eat a freaking salad, dude. This guy, if he lost weight, he would be one of the best hitters in baseball for a really long time, but he's just fat. All right, go on, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, sneak peek into JSU's lineup. Like, I'm for sure going to play that 6, 7, 8. Like, that's the side of the Twins that I really like because I think that has the most leverage in tournaments where I don't think people are going to get all three of those guys. I think that's going to be the lower owned part of the order where you're going to get leverage off of the garlic and all those other guys.
This is just turning into a twin show, which is fine because we're all in on the Twins. I certainly am myself. What's interesting to me here, so Boyd is a little scary, right? He is a good pitcher who can rack up strikeouts. There's certainly an outcome here where Boyd pitches 6 innings and gets 8 strikeouts, and
But that's why I like those 3 guys, though. They're cheap. Like they're not. I'm not paying. This isn't like the Dodgers where we're paying $5K for all the main guys, right? Like this isn't that spot, right? These guys are cheap.
Absolutely. So I wrote this in the playbook today when talking about the Twins, and I think it's a very, very important point for this game. The Tigers bullpen just sets up perfectly for these Twin stacks today. The Twins have 9 right-handed hitters going up against Matthew Boyd, who gives up a ton of home runs to righties. This is the Tigers' 5th game in a row. Looking at their bullpen, I think they have 1 available right-handed pitcher in their entire bullpen who pitched yesterday. The other 2 guys that are going to be available are Tyler Alexander, who throws from the left side, and Daniel Norris, who also throws from the left side. I think that's pretty much it. This looks like a game to me. The Tigers bullpen is so tired and beat up. If the Twins go off, you could see a position player, the first position player to pitch this season. That's how gassed this Tigers bullpen is. It's not good anyway. And they're going to have to bring in, listen, we're targeting Matthew Boyd. The guys are going to bring in after him, Daniel Norris and Tyler Alexander, 2 lefties that you even want to target even more. Also, there would traditionally be some pinch hit worry here for guys like Garlick and Rooker swinging from the right side that like a guy like Max Kepler might come in, right? A guy like Luis Arias might come in. But if the Twins are winning this game 6-7-0, they'll just let those guys finish out the game. And I think that's even more of a possibility because Kenta Maeda is on the mound, who's not going to get hit, right? So if the Twins stack's going off, I think Maeda will pitch well, even if he's not maybe in the optimal just because he doesn't get that many strikeouts. You're going to see the Twins' original 9 guys, I think, finish out this game, which is always a little bit of a worry, right? Wow. You get your stack going off, they get the guys out late, but they're not going to take Rooker and Garlick out of the game if they're winning by 6 or 7 runs, which we think is a possibility. So when you're stacking, you're kind of trying to correlate all the possible upside, and that factors into it too. So again, it's not a guarantee that the Twins rough up Matthew Boyd, but if they do, things are really going to fall in place because you're going to get shitty lefties out of the bullpen. You're going to get your guys staying in there all game. And I think you're going to get, a situation where it's 9-1 in the 9th inning, and these guys hit like a couple more home runs off of the dregs of the Detroit bullpen. So I'm personally all in on the Twins. Sounds like you're kind of going the same route. A lot of RPSs, and that's the way we're rolling today.
I mean, I think that just made me like them even more. It's just,
that was kind of the point of it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you could have made a better case for why you like the Twins than literally just that last pitch at the very end.
IL?
I mean,
how is that possible?
who?
Rooker.
I mean, he's in the lineup, so I don't think he's on the IL.
I know.
Yeah, I'd say I hope
Fantasy
not.
Labs MLB just said they put him on the IL. Twins just placed Brent Rooker on the IL. They'll call up Brandon Waddle.
So there you go. You got strain in the chat.
Take him out of your
Cervical
lineup.
strain.
Huh?
So someone said in the chat, cervical strain. So
yeah,
he's
cervical
out.
strain. He's on the IL. So there you go, boys. You're lucky I showed up on time this morning. You're welcome. The check's in the mail, I'm sure. So we got to get him out.
Yeah. So who's going in for him? Kepler? Who do they?
I mean, that's a big salary difference, though. The reason Rooker was DC, the dude's 2,300 on DraftKings. That changes everything up.
I'm looking right now. I don't know what a cervical strain is, but
do you have a cervix? It's your back.
Yeah, all right. I guess I do.
I think it's more neck than anything else.
So yeah, Rooker was hitting 6th, right? He was obviously a pivot option. They're down. I assume that Kepler would have to come in there because they just need another outfielder. So, I don't love Kepler versus lefties, but
that changes everything.
Not really. We just roster more, the 8 other Twins.
But it's 2,300 that you're losing. That's a massive salary.
But now that's gonna make Garlic way more popular, right?
Way more popular. Yeah.
Because Rooker was going to take some of that same salary ownership. Everyone's just going to make the easy pivot to Garlic. I do really like Garlic, so I'm not.
So do we stay away from him? We're trying to win money here, so let's talk.
No. We're not moving away from the Twins. This doesn't change a lot. Just get Rooker out of your lineups.
All right.
Get another Twins player in there. It's all good.
So Garlic. Just switch to Garlic.
Yeah. Well, the point is everyone's going to do that, but yeah, that's obviously the easy switch.
Well, you will be doing something else, correct, DC? Or no?
No. I'll have a lot of Garlic in my lineups. No question about it.
Cool. Very good. All right. Wonderful. Jake Cave is in. So.
Okay. Cave in. That makes sense. Yeah.
That's what they're saying, that Cave went in. So, okay. But that's big news right there.
He's 2,600. All right. That's not that big of a, it's not the Kepler difference, right?
No.
Yeah. It's also one less player that can pinch hit for our guys, right?
Yeah, that's true.
No, that's a good point too. I'm just looking at some of the lineups here, like the Cubs lineup today. Did you see the Cubs lineup? Haps, Sogard, Rizzo, Bryant, Peterson, Baez, Hayward. Something like Eric Sogard. What are we doing here? The Nats lineup's been out for a while. They've got so many guys on the COVID list, but they were able to put up a few runs yesterday. All right, let's just get in position by position. This show's going to go a long time, I guess. Not that we mind, right? DC?
I mean, at least we don't have to talk about the Twins anymore. We can just X them out of the position by position.
We don't need to mention them in the position.
All right, so
we obviously like 8 of the Twins. So
All right, play all the Twins, and we're not going to talk about Willens Astudillo here at catcher. So, DC, if you're not playing Willens, give me 2 or 3 other guys.
JT Realmuto, I do have as my top overall catcher, assuming he's in the lineup. I haven't seen a Phillies lineup yet. But I do the Phillies, my second favorite stack. David Peterson, opposing starter for the Mets, really low strikeout rate against righties, really high walk rate, and then a pretty favorable batted ball given up profile to opposing right-handed hitters. So assuming Realmuto's in there, he'll be hitting 3rd or 4th, I assume. He's a great play. Obviously, both of the Twins guys I'm on, and then Will Smith. He'll be in the lineup today because Austin Barnes played against Jesus Luzardo, who is a really good pitcher, but I don't mind taking right-handed power bats against him. So Will Smith, I think, will go overlooked, especially if we don't have a lineup by the time lock rolls around, which I think will be kind of a close call. So he's the last guy I'm on. Will Smith for the Dodgers.
I don't know what the White Sox are going to do with Yermin Mercedes today, since they had the game last night. I wonder.
I'm guessing he gets the day off today. That's my guess against the Rays.
Yeah, or it maybe DHs.
Yeah, I mean, he's been DHing pretty much every day, but I think it'll be Grandal in a catcher, and then I'm guessing
maybe Mercedes DHing.
I think it'll be Collins DHing is my guess.
You think so? Okay. All right, we'll look at that. I actually like the White Sox a lot, so that'll be a big news for me. JSU, anything else at catcher you want to bring up?
I mean, DC hit on my favorite guy, which was Will Smith. Real Muto is a good play too at 5K, but Will Smith is the guy. I think he hit it on the head. He's going to go overlooked, and I like him a lot. 4.7. You know, there's a lot of guys around him like Real Muto, 300 more, and Garver, who's playing for a popular Twins team, hitting in the one hole, 300 less. So I think he's just right in there where he's just going to get completely overlooked. And that's where I'm going. If I'm paying up, it's going to be him, or Real Muto would be the next guy after him. But it's those two guys. And then obviously it'd be the cheap Twins guy that I would go to. Those are the three catchers I have in my pool.
Okay, let's move on to first base. All right, JSU, here, we'll throw it since I don't want DC stealing your play. So let's go. Who's your first baseman today?
Well, obviously, after our favorite team, you know, which
we're all gonna have the same lineup.
I know it's the best. RPS
50K, it'll be great.
It would be great, honestly. But Rhys Hoskins, 4,900. I do like the Phillies as well. I think he's a top option if you're spending up. Also, if you're going down, like I kind of like the Red Sox a little bit too here. And I don't mind like the bottom of the order. I think it's sneaky. So Dahlback is first and third. I don't know if I'd play him at first, but he is first base eligible. And I do think he's in play because I do like the bottom of that order. He's also cheap and you can play him at multiple positions. You know, after that, I think those two are the main guys I'm going to have just because I'm not playing multiple lineups. But if I had to pick like a third, Cronenworth is 3,800 and he's first and second eligible. So I think he's another guy I would look at.
Okay. So DC, what do you think of JSU's plays, and do you want to throw anybody else in there?
No, not a ton more to add. Hoskins, I think, is a phenomenal play, but that was already mentioned. Eric Hosmer, I don't mind him against Kevin Gausman out in San Diego if you're looking to get Contrarian. And then I don't love targeting Kyle Hendricks in general, but with this Wrigley weather, wind blowing out, Travis Shaw, who homered for us yesterday, should be back in the lineup. Yeah, hitting fifth today. You know, when Wrigley's like this and you get 12, 13-mile-per-hour ends out to left center field, you don't got to do much. You know, you just got to lift a fly ball, and it's probably going over the ivy. So Travis Shaw, I think, has got upside here too.
All right, we got about 400 watching. We got 110 likes. Let's get it together, jabronis. Come on, hit the like button. Subscribe to the Run Pure Sports channel here, and 150 will give away some swag. You know, maybe JSU will give away whatever your play of the day is if we hit 200. If we don't hit 200, don't give them any plays, okay, buddy? Just do it in Discord. We'll only give it to the subscribers.
Well, I'm gonna give my core in Discord, but yeah, we'll get a play for him. We get that 200.
Do you have the name? Is your play ever named, or is it just you have like some super cut thing?
Super cuts. Look at that hair, man. It's a super cuts play of the day.
What DC? You got a Manscaped shirt on? I mean, I got to step my game up. I got RPS gear on, and this dude's got a Manscaped shirt on. I mean. First of all, we got to get you some damn RPS
if I had gear. I would wear it, but as all I got is my Manscaped.
You got to yell at Big T. I think it's because you're giving him a lot of crap in the Discord, so he might be holding back on the gear, sending it to you because you guys
punishing me. That's fair.
Yeah, you guys are going at each other, which I like. I really do enjoy watching you two go at it over who had the call of the two pitchers. People give Big T credit. And DC was the one who actually had them and talked about them and everything like that.
Oh, Big T threw up a K prop. Big T threw up a K prop after DC said, this guy's going to get this K. Unfortunately for both of them, the guy didn't hit the K prop, but he still did.
Can I just say something though? As working with Big T and NBA, obviously. DC, this is just what it's like, man. Get ready, because whenever there's a good call, if you and Big T somehow land on the same thing,
Always
God,
him.
I guarantee you 95% of the people are going to be like, nice job, Big T.
Always him.
You mean somehow with Big T in the Discord looking at who I'm recommending?
Yep.
Exactly. You know how you're playing somebody, you're talking trash on the court, on the field, and you have a good roast, but you're losing, and they're just like scoreboard. I'm worried Big T is going to come with the bank account comeback, which given his run, I can't compete with that.
I don't know if Big T would go there.
That's
I don't
Big
think
T
he would
diss.
use that.
No, he doesn't do that.
He won't do that.
No. He'll probably threaten to fire you or something. Did you ever meet him when you were out here in Denver?
I've met Big T a couple times, but once was in Denver, I think.
All right. You and me are about, I think you told me where he lives. So we're a little less than an hour away. You're way north then, right?
Yeah.
And I'm way south. And then Big T's coming to town. I mean, in all honesty, probably not even going to see the guy when he comes to town. I mean,
he doesn't want to be hanging out with the little guys at RPS.
No, he doesn't want to hang out.
He's got big wigs to see.
He doesn't want to do that. Yeah. He's got family here. He's got edibles. He's got so much stuff to do out here. I do want to go to a Rockies game with him, but I'd rather take my kids too. He don't want to go with my kids. I don't blame him. No. Get Bets is our promo code. Sign up for the monthly Run Pure Sports Elite stuff, and then you get the Elite Bets option when you sign up for it. Bets, first month free. Okay? First month free. Get Bets. I'm trying to get people over there so they can win money, but if you don't want to win money, there's nothing I can do for you. If you want to leave money on the table, don't sign up for Bets. If you want to win money, sign up for Bets. Oh, Joey Work is coming to town, by the way. DC, I forgot I can invite you too while we're at it. You probably won't want to hang out with me, but that's fine. We were doing a live show the other night on the Bet side. Joey Work's coming out. We're going to go get a cabin up in the mountains. We're going to go whitewater rafting, just get shit-faced for like 3 or 4 days.
I like it.
So you're invited. Joey Work's coming out. Keg's coming out. And the tough one's going to be JJ. I don't know if JJ can handle it, but I'm going to try and get some of the Bets guys out. JSU, not invited because I know he wouldn't come. He wouldn't even bother. I'm not even going to bother inviting you. Big T, not going to come.
Joey Work, a man of the people. He'll slum it with a poor guy like DC over here.
Oh, he is. He's like the scum of the earth. He'll hang out with anybody.
Exactly.
I love Joey Work, but he is the scum of the earth. And he's coming out to hang out with me. I'm so excited. Yay, Joey Work. We're going to get a cabin and, hookers and stuff. So anyways, did we do first base? Yes, we did. Second base. DC, second base. What are we doing? You always want to play Jake Cronenworth. I think he's in your core every day so far. Do you have any interest in him against Pablo today? I don't think so.
Against Gaussman, yeah, I do. Yeah,
Gaussman, I should say.
I like Cronenworth here.
Yeah.
I'll go a little bit off the board though. I think at least Jazz Chisholm, Miami guy. I've talked about him previously, but off to a pretty good start. Power, speed in Miami against one of what we think will be one of the more popular pitchers in Jack Flaherty. 2,800. Can play him at shortstop or second base. So I do like him if you need the savings. Obviously can't mention any Twins guys here, but certain Jorge Polanco seems good. That's pretty much it. Just 2 or 3 guys here for me at second base.
Good. Let's get rid of it. What do you think there, JSU? Anybody else?
Yeah, there was actually 1 or 2 guys for me because I already mentioned Cronenworth, first and second eligible. Jazz Chisholm was the one guy because this was a position where in my lineup builds, I kept needing to spend down. Like it was one of those spots where you build out your lineup and then you just like, oh, I have, only 3K left. Who
you really don't feel like you're missing out on much spending down at second base.
Yeah, no, because I look at the position and I don't like a lot of the spend up options, to be honest with you. Not that I don't like any of them, but it's just like, oh, it's fine. I'm not like too worried about these guys. The other guy I didn't mind that you didn't bring up was Kiki against the lefty. I don't mind him. I talked about some of the bottom of the order guys for the Red Sox. And I think Kiki hitting the 1 hole. If you're playing some bottom of the order, you can do that nice little wraparound. I think is interesting stack for the Red Sox. So I think Kiki at 3.9 is okay as well. Those were the 3 second basemen I had in my pool, but honestly, I'm definitely spending down in most of my lineups.
In the idea that we should disagree on something on the show.
Yes.
I'll recommend against the Boston guys. Ryan Yarbrough just does a phenomenal job limiting damage. So I almost never take hitters against him, even if they're swinging from the right side versus a lefty. And then you got the Rays bullpen, which is pretty outstanding, coming in after him. So, we've agreed on, I think, almost everything. I'll say I'm not playing any Red Sox today.
We can definitely agree to disagree. We're going to have to disagree on a few things. It wouldn't be a show if we didn't disagree.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
so I figured I'd step in there.
I think the Red Sox are interesting, especially the bottom of the order, and they're cheap, a lot of them. So, we can agree to disagree.
Oh, let's see if he agrees or disagrees with this one. So, draft cheat. JSU's dog Reggie is going to be castrated in a month. They're going to snip his balls, and JSU could have stopped it. He decided not to. Would you recommend getting in a fight with your woman to save your beloved? He loves his dog a lot. Your beloved dog's balls, or would you just concede?
It's JSU's dog. It's his choice.
Oh my God, DC!
No.
They told me you're coming over here. You're the contrarian. You'll talk trash, and here it is. It's JSU's choice. Come on, it's not JSU's choice.
You don't want a bunch of puppies running around. I approve the choice by JSU.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
He doesn't feel good about it. I'll tell you that much.
No, I don't.
He's lost sleep
really.
over at DC, and he should. He should.
Struggling.
Sad. If you guys want to save Reggie's balls, make sure you hit us up in the comments here. Hold on. One of these guys, who was it? He's playing baseball for the first time. There he is. He's playing baseball for the first time today, and I can't find him. Josh Bowler. Josh, are you a subscriber? Why am I obsessed with Reggie's balls? Because I don't want him to go anywhere, Drew. Are you a subscriber playing baseball for the first time? If you are, that'd be awesome. Let me know if you're a subscriber. If you're not, then I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. We're at shortstop now. Let's move on to that. Whoopsie. Nope, third base. Third base comes after second base. My White Sox guys. I love me some Yohan Moncada today, but DC, third base. I mean, is this just a position where you're just throwing whoever it is in your stack, or they're one-offs? What's the third base strategy?
Well, the Twins I don't think they have a third baseman to play today because Josh Donaldson out of the lineup. There's literally nobody eligible at third base on their team. So that's unfortunate. So I got to play a different guy at third base. I really like Jose Ramirez against Jake Junis, who's not any good. That's a spend up option. Justin Turner just kills lefties. He's been on fire against Jesus Luzardo. I bet he'll be low owned. And then if you're spending down, again, no Phillies lineup yet, but assuming he's in the lineup, Alec Boehm, second-year player for the Phillies. I do really like those Phillies righties, Boehm, McCutchen, Hoskins, Real Muto. My second favorite stack behind the Twins. So Alec Boehm, 3,100, I think is the best value over there.
Okay, very good. JSU, want to add anybody at third?
Yeah, so I do like the call with Alec Boehm if you're spending down. I think he's a good option. Moncada, to me, 4,900. I know he's had a rough start, but I do like him. I like him even more against, righties. So I'm going to pick on that. 4,900. He's going to be lower owned just because I think, the slump. And then Justin Turner all the way at the top. Some of these Dodgers guys I think are going to come in maybe a little lower owned because they're price tags, some of them. And with a lot of the expensive pitching options, it might be tough for some guys to get up there. So I think Turner's an interesting pivot. Don't mind the Ramirez all the way at the top, but I think Turner should be a little lower owned than Ramirez.
All right, we got the new Twins lineup. Like I said, it's Cave is the difference. So it goes Garver. How many teams hit their catcher leadoff? Garver, Garlic, Cruz, Polanco, Buxton, Sano, Willens, Astudillo, Simmons, and Cave. That's your new Twins lineup with Rooker being out. Okay, shortstop now. Woo-wee. Shortstop. Bo Bichette, I think he's been in my line, at least one of my lineups every single night so far. But this is not a position where anybody stands out more than anybody else. JSU, I wonder, since you're on the Red Sox a little bit, is Xander Bogaerts in the mix today?
I mean, I think he's in play, obviously, but I kind of like Corey Seager as my favorite shortstop. And I think a lot of people, again, another point where a lot of people are going to just see lefty, but if you just watch him at the plate, I just don't care right now. He looks so good right now that I just think he's one of the better hitters in baseball. And I don't care if it's a lefty, right. It doesn't matter to me. He's just so locked in right now. Give me Corey Seager. Hopefully people see the lefty matchup and stay away from him. I think it's going to keep his ownership down. That's why I like some of these expensive Dodgers. And like I said, we got a lot of cheap outfielders and other spots where I can spend down at outfield and be able to afford some of these, expensive Dodgers guys. So Corey Seager is my number one spend if I'm going up at the top. Jazz is also shortstop eligible, so I can play him at second or shortstop. So yeah, those are the two guys I'm looking at.
Yeah, we got a BVP conversation going on in the chat right now. I think we could just, you know what? Let's end their conversation as it is. Joey works all about BVP. Bogart smashing Yarborough. Other guys, Steve is just like there is no BVP advantage. I think there's a handful of guys a year where I look at BVP and I'll just throw them in the lineup because of that. DC, what's your thoughts on BVP? Just real quick to settle this argument in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can be relevant at times, especially when it's just recent at bats and no big changes from the pitcher or the hitter. But in general, I think it's probably overrated by the majority of DFS players.
Okay. JSU, what's your take on BVP?
That is my exact take.
Yes.
Where I think it is something you can look at, but I think it's overblown by a lot of people that are really into it. I think they just it's like overkill almost sometimes with those people. But I do think it's fine to look at. There's no problem. DC did with the Twins. He looked at, them against Boyd, but it didn't completely just switch him off, right? He added that in. He added that little nugget, but he still says he likes them, and he gave his reasons why after, obviously. But it shouldn't just completely sway you one way or the other, in my opinion.
Here's just a concrete example of what BVP did for me today. If Miguel Sano had monster numbers against Matthew Boyd, I probably would have had near 100% of him in my lineups today. The fact that he's been owned so thoroughly over Matthew Boyd over a pretty good sample size has me reducing my Snow ownership down to, 50 or 60%. I'm still going to play him. I'm not going to be all in just because those numbers are a little bit scary when it's that extreme. 22 strikeouts and 39 plate appearances. That's a scary number to me. It really is.
Okay. Oh boy. So DC, did you want to throw anything else in the shortstop position?
Yeah, tough position, right? I don't think these guys at the top really stand out. I like the Seager call. He can hit lefties just fine. Luzardo did look good in his first outing. Really good stuff. So that's a little bit scary, but Seager just so locked
Luzardo
in. I don't hate it. Kind of in a similar vein there. I'm looking at Francisco Lindor a little bit against Aaron Nola. One of the reasons why is that you can run wild on Aaron Nola, one of the worst guys at holding runners once they get to first or second base. Lindor, obviously a guy that can steal bags, and I don't think you'll see anybody on Francisco Lindor against Nola. You typically don't, right? People just don't target at all kind of the top end aces, but I think Lindor has a shot at a big game. Obviously you'll get into the bullpen at some point too.
So as we move on, remember to like and subscribe. Did we get to 150 yet? All right, two more, and one of you is getting some swag. We get to 200. JSU will give away his play of the day. If you're a subscriber, just check in the Discord, and JSU will post his cores in there. BVP isn't only for hitters. No, fine. If a guy has struck out 9 guys in a lineup every single time he faced him, then I think you're right. You can use it for pitchers too. In all seriousness, yes, there are ways to go about that too. If one guy owns another team, but that
I don't believe in that.
Translate to DFS. That probably doesn't translate to DFS every time, just because a guy beats another team or holds them down. Yeah, if he's having a bad day, he's getting torched. Okay, outfield. Let's do this, DC. Oh boy, a lot of guys standing out to me today, honestly, in outfield. So I wonder where you want to start. Nelly Cruz probably going to be the chalk. Well, maybe he won't be. Maybe because he's fine.
He will be. I think
he will be. I think all the Twins are just going to be the chalk. Him, Buxton. All these guys are going to be rolled out there. So besides for the Twins, give me a couple of names that you'll be targeting.
Yeah. So obviously all the Twins, but beyond that, Mookie Betts against Luzardo, a guy that, Betts is phenomenal against everybody, but especially good against lefties, all the way up top 6K. I don't know how many people will get to him, but I'm certainly interested there. I'm not targeting Yarbrough, but JD Martinez is the one that I might. He's been just back to his old self this year. So he's a guy to look at. I do like Christian Yelich. He's let me down a little bit these last couple of days, but with that Wrigley wind, I think he is a very good option. And then I really, really like Eddie Rosario against Jacob Junis. Junis just gets killed by lefties. Rosario looking good so far this year. And these two have a good history together too. But yeah, Junis is one of those matchups. Still like Rosario. And then final guy, I'll throw in Ian Happ, leadoff for the Cubs. Brandon Woodruff, good strikeout guy, but does give up home runs, especially to lefties.
Okay, JSU, where are you going here? Non-Twins guys, since we all love the Twins today.
Yeah, well, first off, I'm really happy that I hear DC on Eddie Rosario because I really like him too today against Junis. Looking for guys at the top that are maybe pivots, and I like the Mookie call. I like Rosario a lot too. Those are two guys that I'm definitely going to look at in my lineups if I'm spending up. Honestly, after those two guys, though, just like looking at it, don't mind the Hap call. I kind of like a little Hunter Renfroe. Me and DC have talked about it. He doesn't really like the Boston guys outside of JD. I kind of like some of these cheaper Boston guys. Hunter Renfroe, to me, 3,600. I think he's in play. Jock Peterson, I don't mind hitting fifth, 3,400. So it's mostly going to be cheap outfielders for me. Then I'm just going to kind of go down and get some of these Twins. So those are some of the guys I like. But yeah, I mean, Joey Gallo to me also, I know Ryu's, he's a good pitcher, but I think Joey Gallo, you can play him whenever you want this year. It doesn't matter.
Okay, very good. All right, so we just got through everything we need to get to. You want to do some stacks? I know everybody is into the Twins. I'll throw out a stack. I always throw out a stack. My Rays stack sucked. We'll try and bounce back with this one. White Sox going up against Justin Dunn, right-handed pitcher. So the White Sox are better against lefties, obviously, but this is a guy, Dunn, that has had issues in his brief time in the majors and in the minors with walks. And I think if you're just putting guys on base, if you're the White Sox, you're asking for trouble, man. The more guys that are on base, I don't think there's going to be that many people on this game, personally. Yep. Later game today, but the White Sox against Justin Dunn, definitely a team. And I don't even know how crazy you got to get with the lineup. Like, you might be able to throw. Here's the guys that I looked at: Robert Abreu, Grandal, Mercedes, and Moncada. I mean, those are you could roll those out if Mercedes is in the lineup. That's a little bit, but the White Sox are my play today. DC, what's your stack?
Yeah, no problem with the White Sox. Obviously the Twins, and then the two that I'm looking at beyond them are mostly Philadelphia, particularly the right-handers. But obviously, if you're stacking up Philly, you're probably going to include Bryce Harper in there, and then the Blue Jays. Again, I do like Kyle Gibson generally more than most, but he gets blown up a lot, and the Blue Jays obviously have huge power. I haven't seen if the roof is going to be open in Texas. If it is, give another bump to those Blue Jays guys.
Okay, JSU.
Yeah, so I like the Philly call by DC. And then after that, obviously, we both like the Twins. The other team that I don't mind is, and I know this kid's a good pitcher, Luzardo, but I think the Dodgers are pretty much nightly in play, and just because how good their lineup is. And I think people are going to maybe overlook the stack just because of how good that maybe people think Luzardo is. They're just going to kind of avoid the game entirely. And so I think a stack is worthy just because of that reason. And it's a tough spot with a decent young pitcher, but at the same time, these are really good hitters on the other side. So I don't mind taking a shot in tournaments with these Dodgers.
I like it. I like it a lot. Anything else we need to get to, boys? Did we do everything? Let me give away.
We need to give away some swag, and I think I found someone.
Who is it?
To give it away to. His name is Matt P715. He says, "So I'm a sub listening at work. You guys helping me get through it. Good mojo." Matt P 715. You got some gear, my brother. Reach out to Big T in the Discord. Shoot him your info. And next time he goes to FedEx, he's going to ship you some RPS gear, brother.
Gotta be honest with you. I thought you were gonna pick someone that's just shitting on me, but good. It makes me feel good. You can't. You can't today. You can't.
Also,
you mess with the schedule.
Before we sign off, I got a message from our guy K Falick, and I don't know if he was happy with us. He said, "I think y'all need to talk about Gaussman a little bit," and we didn't give no love to Gaussman. I personally am not playing Gaussman here. I just think there are better options. Like the way I'm building with two studs mainly. And if I'm going anywhere else, I think it'd be Ryu down low. But DC, do you have any Gaussman love, or do you have a take on him? Because I didn't really like him here.
I do like Gaussman in general. He's been a guy that I've been on, and looks like he's kind of found it with the Giants, throwing more splitters than ever, which was kind of the big change you needed to make. On a different slate, definitely San Diego just has such a strong lineup, right? Kind of hard to get the win against Blake Snell, and there's just so many good options. So I'm not on it, but I do get the play. I certainly did look into him a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Okay, I don't mind. All right, guys. Get Bets is the new promo code for our site. Sign up for monthly, the Elite plus the Bet side. Get the Bet side free for the first month. Some plays up today already for today's game. So if you get in there quick and do it. I'm about to go tape the monkey knife. Wong was pulled too. Is that what you're saying? Hold on a second. Let me go check this out. See what's going on. Wong. No. Colton
Wong, good. We didn't even mention him on the show.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry. If he's gone, don't worry about it. As DC would say, we didn't even mention him on the show. Screw it. Okay. Sounds good. Oh, did you guys picked out the players here, the Masters coordinators poll. So did you guys, the golf show's coming up, what, tonight, JSU?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So if you're a golf fan or you're just playing golf DFS, and you want a little more content, me, Uncle T, and the newest Millie Maker winner on DraftKings, Mr. Big T, are going to come on at 9:00 for our Pin Seeker show. We're bringing it back for the Masters. And last time we had the show, someone won $1 million. And I will say, he gave a lot of really good takes. Like pretty much like 4 or 5 of the guys he had in his winning lineup at the end of the show, when we pick like winners and long shots and everything like that, I'm pretty sure he brought up like 5 of the 6 guys, like at the end of that, like of the show. He named all of them throughout the show, but when we went to pick like the long shots, literally like that whole lineup was talked about at the end as guys he thought had a chance to win, which is obviously one of the reasons why he won $1 million. He played those guys. And for people who say we don't play our plays, go back and watch that show. Literally just rewind to the end and you'll see the guys he talked about were literally the guys who won him $1 million. They were in his lineup. So
listen, we're not always going to be right. We're not always going to win, but when we do win, our winning lineup will have the guys that we talked about, recommended, wrote about, had in the cores. Like that will never waver, right? Like we do 100% play the guys that we're recommending to who's ever reading or listening.
Speaking of Big T, he just sent me a message. And I'll read it right before we sign off because I kind of agree with him. I know DC's not going to like this player because I know for a fact, but he said, my hero is Cave.
Oh,
I mean, he's on the Twins, so I'm good with it.
Yep. We can end the show with that, but if you wanted a Big T play, he's not on the show, but I just gave you one. He says, my hero is Cave.
Cave versus Garlic. What do you think there, DC?
Give me Garlic, but I have no problem with Cave, to be honest.
He's $300.
You could play them both.
Absolutely, you can. Yep.
You can play them both. Okay. Good stuff, guys. Hope everybody had fun. We gave away our thing. I see where I got Adam Scott and Joaquin Neiman. Big T made a deal with me on the air that I could have Jordan Spieth. So I don't know what's going on here.
You better ask Big T. I have no idea. Don't ask me. I was not involved.
What do you mean?
This.
You're like, you're always like, I talk to him all night long. We're best friends.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about who you have, who we like drew for your Masters.
Whatever,
winners.
dude.
So, like,
All right. So check out the golf show tonight. One more time. When is it, JSU, Mr. Host?
It's at 9 p.m. Yep. You got the best host at RPS. JSU will be hosting, and he gets to, hang out with the D House boys, and it should be a fun time. Big T's going to get drunk like normal. And actually, apparently, I have to drink during the show because I made a bet. If someone won $1 million on the last show, I would, on the Masters show, drink with everyone. So now, apparently, I have to drink on the show.
Awful.
Wow, poor JSU has to have a beer. Man, what a rough life over there.
Beer is
DC,
awful.
No. I drink coffee and I drink water, buddy. That's literally what I drink. Nothing else.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Good talk, guys. Wonderful stuff. And that's it. Make sure you sign up. If you haven't, get bets. That's the code. That's all I wanted to let you know. Good luck today. DC, fine to see you once again. JSU, we're gotta get to the bottom of who to blame for this one thing. I have a feeling we're gonna get off the air and Simon's not gonna be happy. So it's your fault.
It's not my fault.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep running pure. That's it.
Go Twins.